Minions will now always engage targets with a cast curse. Significantly increase the experience awarded for completing nightmare dungeons. Oh hi, the new patch has dropped, 1.03, and guess what? They buffed everything. Let's go together through it. A lot of bug fixes and then overall experience changes plus buffs to every single class. And yes, the Necromancer got it good, but it seems like Barbarian is now on top. Before we look into the experience changes, yes, Necromancer now has not the miasma pools anymore. It looks way better. Good. Experience rewards. Significantly increase the experience awarded for completing nightmare dungeons. Significantly increase the experience gained from killing monsters in nightmare dungeons as well. And that has the idea that doing nightmare dungeons should be the pinnacle of XP gain, that you're actually getting the most for it because you also want to do it to upgrade your glyphs. So you shouldn't be punished for actually trying to upgrade your glyphs. You should be rewarded for doing the hard content. But also, Helltide chests now provide substantially more bonus experience when opened, and that is fantastic. Considering that in one Helltide, you can easily get 4 chests of mysteries. There's a video in the description below about Helltides. And if you do it right in 1 whole hour, you could open up to 8 or 10 chests. And that should now boost you XP-wise even further. We'll definitely keep track of this to see how much is it actually worth it compared to Nightmare Dungeons. Also, significantly increase the rewarded experience from completing individual whispers across the board. And that's fantastic because right now, whenever you did one of these 1-star whispers, let's call them 1-star or 3-star or 5-star, then sometimes it felt like you were not getting enough. It was like 20k or whatsoever, and it takes a substantial amount of time to actually finish them, more than an event, and events already give 20k XP. So now that's really good, making Tree of Whispers feel better, especially as we're going to be using Tree of Whispers probably to level up all our alt characters. You skip the campaign, you get the Tree of Whispers already, and it's now worth it to actually do it. Then a very good general change. The Helltide roaming bosses will now more consistently drop higher quality loot. And I said it before, killing that boss feels so worthless and it takes so much time. The Helltide Assassin is so annoying. But now knowing that there's a chance it drops higher loot and potentially more easily uniques, definitely worth it. Players can now teleport to their Nightmare Dungeon directly through the map. We don't have to talk about that one, right? Activate your rune, be at the dungeon, don't have to run. On the one hand, I really like this. On the other hand, it's also a little bit sad because you can essentially just teleport from dungeon to dungeon to dungeon to dungeon to dungeon to dungeon without ever seeing ever much from the world. It kind of feels a little bit like World of Warcraft, where you have this vast world, but you essentially just sit in the main city and teleport everywhere you want to be instead of ever flying anywhere. It will streamline the experience though. Weekly bonus caches from world bosses no longer have a level requirement for opening. Congratulations, you're not getting punished for actually doing world tier 4 world bosses and for not being 80 or 82. Also, a very important developers note, we're currently working on increasing the monster and elite density of endgame content and plan to introduce this change early in season 1, which I do like really much because some of these dungeons feel extremely empty. Sometimes I'm, where's the next elite pack? In normal as in nightmare dungeons, Champion's Demise has felt really good, Blind Barrows also, but I would prefer a higher elite density in general to make it more fun. Now, before we go into the balance changes, there's a developer's note. I think these are very important to actually feel into the game and what they're planning to do. And if you really disagree with the vision of the developers, that's kind of like your point to maybe jump ship. We're continuing our efforts to make all class builds feel fun and powerful with another round of balance updates. In particular, we have seen community feedback stating that basic skill aren't impactful enough in combat. Yes, you often actually want to skip every single basic skill. These changes will not change the fundamental relationship between basic and core skills, but we hope that they will help smooth out leveling experience while we explore additional ways to strengthen them. We are also increasing the power of some skills that players feel are lagging behind their peers. As we look forward to future updates, we're monitoring other heavily discussed topics, such as minion survivability, thank you, and build parity. Please keep sending us your feedback and we'll see you in Sanctuary. I know you're all super hot for the Necromancer, but we'll go through the list from the top to the bottom and cover all of them, because I know there's more than Necromancer players out there. Good news first, they buffed everything. Lunging Strike, 3% more, minimal, but there, and you generate more Fury, and that's big. Generally, Bash also generating more Fury, and the Fortify increased heavily. Frenzy gives you more base damage, and Flame also more Fury. So all of these in general, getting you away from this Essence Star feeling that Diablo 4 developers seem to love. Double Swing is getting a 4% increase. None of these is crazy. I mean, this was fortified from 10 to 20%, but they're all moving you up and not pushing you down. Kicks cooldown reduction by 4 seconds is quite something, and the base damage dealt to enemies knockback into terrain increase from 54 to 70%. That's actually a big one. Enhanced charge base damage dealt to enemies knockback into terrain increase from 15 to 30% as well. And leap slow is now increased from 50 to 70%. That's, I mean, I'm not going to say useless because slow 50 or 70, I mean, they're slowed. Now, Einskin Enhanced Barrier is now 20% of maximum life. That's actually huge. At 10% more is really nice. Prime Call of the Ancients bonus attack speed increased from 10 to 20% as well. Awesome. And Iron Maelstrom cooldown reduced from 60 to 45 seconds. Okay, 15 seconds shaved off. Love it. And then the base damage increased from Bounding Slam from 70 to 112%. Like to see that. And they're not only buffing the abilities, they're also tweaking aspects, which is kind of nice to see because some aspects feel underwhelming. The Earthquake flat damage increased from Volcatus, Earthquake flat damage increased. The Earthquake flat damage increased. The Dust Devil flat damage also increased. Wind Slasher, Devilish, Iron Warrior. Everything gets buffed by some. I mean, this is like only by 0.2 points. This is by 0.7, and this is by 0.7 as well. I mean, there's only 5% damage reduction, but we all know 5% damage reduction in the end game is huge. Now for the Druid, and I found that really interesting because they are hugely buffing every single base skill, and it comes with a developer note they set above. And as a Druid, I always felt like my spirit was running dry. So getting 11 instead of 10 is nice. 13 on top, also good. Fortify increase if we wanted to. Claw getting base damage increase. There's a lot of claw builds, and you go for 11 spirit instead. The double attack chance goes from 10 to 15%, and also Fierce Claw base damage increase from 10 to 50. That's Wild Claw double attack 15%. That's nice. I mean, 5% more, it doesn't seem like much, but it's huge. I would like that for my Ring of Mendon. Maul also giving you more spirit, and enhanced lightning storm duration increase from 4 to 6 seconds. That's 2 more seconds. That's amazing. Shred's third attack base damage increased from 60 to 70%. Awesome. And Hearn's Shred's healing increased from 1%, 2% max life. That's huge. That's so much more. Raging Shred's base damage increased by 20%. I'll say 19. And Primal Shred's bonus critical strike damage increased from 20 to 30%. Brilliant. This is good to see. Cooldown reduced from 14 to 11. Ferocious Wolfpack lucky hit chance increased from 10 to 4. What? I mean, not that the minions anyways from the Druid feel quite useless, but getting the lucky hit chance for the bonus attack speed, if I'm not mistaken, from 10 to 40% is quite something. Hurricane base damage increase. Wasn't Hurricane already incredible anyways? Well, it doesn't matter. Rabies base... Well, okay, sir. Let's go. Cataclysm goes higher. Lack rate also from 400 to 460%. Petrify has a bigger critical strike bonus. And then Pummel base damage also by another 40%. There are no nerfs. Everything is just getting more awesome. Jeez, I've seen Druids be crazy, but this is getting better and better. Chance to cast a free spell increase from 20 to 30%. That's huge for Nature's Fury. Lapine Ferocity also damage bonus increased by another 10%. Ooh, okay, I like this. Mangled and Runeworkers getting buffed. Seismic Shift getting the cooldown decrease from 2.5 to 1. Ooh, I like that. Blurred Beast up to 100%. That's only a 10% increase. That's okay. And now for the Necromancer. My biggest point of expertise, obviously. Reap gets a base damage increase from 12 to 13, obviously useless, but Acolyte Reap's cooldown between corpses reduced from 5 to 4, that's good. Now every 4 seconds you could make a bonus corpse with Reap if you actually use it. Decompose has a slight increase, gives more essence, and also now you can make more corpses every 2 seconds instead of 2.5. That's noticeable. I mean, instead of 5 seconds, it's going to be then 2, then instead 6 instead of 7.5. It kind of is like so significantly less with the longer you use Decompose. Hemorrhage slight base damage increase doesn't really change much. You get a little bit more essence, which is nice to see. And Bone Splinters, you're not using that anyways. Sever gets a big buff. That's 6% base damage, but the enhanced Sever returns a base damage increase from 25 to 40% is really nice. And they also made Bloodlens potentially viable because Bloodlens used to completely be useless because you needed to cast 8 to actually get an overpower. Now it's only 6. I would prefer that to be reduced to 5 because 6 is still a lot on the Bloodlens, but the essence cost is relatively low for it, so it should work. This is nice with the Bone Prison because I'm actually planning to play Bone Prison, not the Fortify of it, but the actual Bone Prison itself, and my 2-second cooldown reduce is nice. Actually, because there's a bug with Bone Prison that might actually trigger the Ring of Mendel 100%, but don't tell the Iron Maiden base damage increase from 10 to 20% is huge. And also the Heart Maiden eye damage increase from 15 to 20 is amazing because that's double the bonus. Love to see it. Corpse Tendrils, Blighted Corpse Tendrils chance to increase blood orbs by Corpse Tendrils. A Blight Corpse Tendrils chance to spawn blood orbs is now increased to 5%. Corpse Tendrils now have a 5% higher chance to spawn blood orbs. I would prefer 40 over 30. Still though, it's fine if you're going for the blood build, you get free blood orbs. And the Bone Spike base damage increase from 80 to 120%. That's a lot. But most importantly for the Necromancer is Ray, Skeleton, and Golem. Minions now always engage targets with a cast curse, which is cool. I mean, you cast a curse, your minions go there. But on the other hand, if you don't use a curse in your build, everyone uses Decrepify, that being said. But if you don't use a curse in your build, then you're not going to be able to target your minions. I mean, it's a nice stopgap measure, kind of, but it's also forcing you to play curses, which kind of cuts down on build variety. They changed Callan's Attic, but sadly not the way we want to. They shaved down the requirement of 3 seconds to 2 seconds. So if you don't take any damage for 2 seconds now, your minions get a plus 30% attack speed increase. And that's still completely useless because it's plus 30%. It's again not multiplicative. It doesn't like boost your minions to make them incredibly faster. Yeah, it's just plus 30%. It's sad. But they actually buff Rathamus Vigor, which is insane for blood necromancers right now. So instead of waiting 15 seconds until you get a safe overpower, it's only 12. That's 3 seconds less. That's if a fight lasts for a minute. Such a significant reduction of time, especially in boss fights where you're often waiting for the Rathamus Vigor to trigger your Blood Mist Overwhelm. They changed some of the legendary aspects, but none of them that are actually insanely often used. The Flesh Rending is Essence gain increased from 10 to up to 40 now. And Fast Blood is the ultimate cooldown reduction from 0.5 up to 1.5 seconds. I mean, these are good buffs for these two, but it's not going to make me start to use them. For the Rogue, we have a slight base damage increase, another base damage increase. Heartseeker also goes a bit higher. Wow. And then primary Heartseeker damage increase from 30 to 75%. That's actually huge. Forceful Arrow gets another 2%. Barrage at 2%. Caltrops another 5%. Smoke Grenade cooldown reduced by 2 seconds. I love cooldown reductions because it allows you to just use your skills more often, and that's amazing. The Rain of Arrows goes also from 60 to 55 seconds. Prime Rain of Arrows imbuement potency increase from 20 to 30%. That's good. Volley base damage increase from 70 to 105%. That's a 35% increase. Huge. I love it. Damage bonus increase from close quarter combat passive by 10%. That's nice because I think that should be multiplicative. And then the legendary aspects, Escape Artist cooldown increase from 100 to 45 seconds. Okay, listen to me. That sounds insane. Lucky hit chance to gain a Dark Shot increase from 30 to 50 to 40 to 60. 10% more. Seems not much, but any lucky hit chance increase for any ability that has lucky hit chance by 10% is incredible. Let's see what they did for the Sorcerer, because a lot of people have been complaining that Sorcerer gets shafted lately. Spark has an overall damage increase. Frostbolt as well. Firebolt, Charge Bolt all get a 2 for 3% increased. Incinerate base damage increase from 49 to 54. Enhanced Incinerate damage increase from 15 to 25. Oh, that's another 10%. And Greater Incinerate Immobilize requirement reduced from 4 to 3. Fireball mana cost decrease. That's cool. You can spend mana cost. You can spend Fireball even more. Frozen Orb does more damage as well. And Greater Frozen Orb chance to apply vulnerable increase from 25 to 30. Minimal, but there. Blizzard base damage increased by 10%. Ice Blade change to apply vulnerable increase from 30 to 40. That's great. I mean, 30% or 40% is a huge difference. Lightning Spear. Summon Lightning Spear maximum damage bonus increase from 100 to 160%. I love Lightning Spear. I mean, I played the Lightning Sorcerer, so 160% is good to see. And Crackling Energy base damage increase from 15 to 20%. Freezing Weight goes from 60 to 110. That's a 50% increase. We love to see that. I'm happy to see they didn't like absolutely go off the charts with some of these buffs. It's all minimally and pushing the class forward, but it's pushing the class forward as a whole. Yes, I would like to see more changes though, especially on Necromancer. Chances to restore mana up to 17%. That's amazing. Slow amount increased. I don't like slow amount increases. That's kind of like useless as always. Chance to chain to an additional enemy increase from 20 to 40% for abundant energy. Snowguard's damage reduction increased. Yes, by another 10%. That's great. Mana regeneration increased from 20% to 30%. Cool. Flame Scar, flat damage increase, and Staff of Lam Essen damage reduction reduced. Oh, the first time I actually do see any damage reduction nerf. Interesting. All in all, they promised a huge patch and they delivered one that should streamline the gameplay experience even more, and they also fixed a lot of bugs. I'll link the whole patch in the description below if you want to read through the bug fixes. But yeah, usually you might have not noticed a single one of them, or you might have ran into one of them and it is gone now. All in all, you get rewarded more experience now for whatever you do in the game, and I think that's exactly how it should be, that you have even more fun grinding away those nightmare dungeons. I'm going to be flying to level 100 now, that's for sure. So tell me, what do you think about the patch notes? And also watch this Helltide video, because now you get even more experience and we want you to profit the most from it.